And I just would encourage everyone to always stay present in the space that you're in. Work with not basing what you know on assumptions or something that you've heard from someone else. Go do your own research. Adjust your emotional temperament. If you're on the fence all the time, just know that needs to be worked with first. It doesn't matter if you got to the point to where you could think and you would manifest every single thought, it would be a disaster. So you shouldn't ask for any power until you actually get the director of that power under control. Okay? And now we're magnificent beings. So we have this potential and this ability. There's a potential in those who haven't achieved it necessarily, but the ability in those who have to completely metamorphosize our own reality to whatever it is that we want. Now, some people will see that as like a magic trick, like a bunny out of a hat, and they'll just be like, well, of course, that doesn't have too much plausibility to it, because how can someone manifest something from where they are if it's higher than where they are? I'll answer that question for you. There was still absolutely no real written down sequence of what it takes for a person to go from, let's say, being a normal average Joe to a billionaire, a philanthropist, a humanitarian, or a savior of humanity, if you may. There's no real sequence there. It's just all of the synchronicities that can happen from you crossing the right street at the right time, sitting down, a person saying, hey, I noticed you're wearing this shirt. Do you know anything about that? Yeah. Oh, wow. I need somebody to do that for me. Maybe I can bring you on. You could talk to me. Okay. Yeah, I can. All right. Do it. Meet you Sunday or Saturday. Hey, look, kid, I got $2 million. If you figure this out for us, whatever you make from this, and take us both. You see, so the sequence of what it takes to actually get to another level it's not really something that's laid out. It's like, oh, you need to go here to this school, and then you need to be a part of this family, and you need to be this color, and then you need to be here at the right time and to have a brownie in your hand. No, it's not like that. So that fiber of connection, which we've learned to play with, to manipulate, to control in our own field, our own manifestation field, that has become the number one controlling point of our existence. And this is something that we began with Secret Energy, AstroQuest, etc. Now we're going to a phase. Now remember, after AI, just so you understand what's happening here, after AI, which is still going to only take 2 years, AI is going to move fast because of the throughput that it's coming through. All systems right now are scrambling to scale up. Facebook, all these systems, they're like, man, we got to scale up. Like, there's more users than we thought. There's more data than we thought, right? So they're all scaling up. And so they're going to scale up. They're going to, you're going to have ASIC systems in the house as computing systems here very soon, in about a year, standard persons running an ASIC system. So from there, what we're also looking at, though, is that after 2 years in 2020, they're going to discover the spirit finally. I'm sitting back like, oh, all right, fine. Did they discover the spirit yet? Oh, okay, great. Now it's time to wake up, because that's when we kick in, right? But in the meantime, see how time travel works? You already know what's going to happen, but you're watching it as it happens because you're the time traveler, right? And now, though, you have to realize, why are you coming back in time, though? Like, why are you coming back? See, I already know the words are backwards, and I already know the entire thing is running in the opposite direction. I know that. I've experienced that, and I see it every single day. But the question then, the riddle is, but why are we going back, though? Like, why would I go back? Well, it's the same reason why, and I speak crypto right now, when you make a trade that was the wrong one 10 minutes earlier, and you're like, oh, I get it, so I can just go back. That's why. You want to change the lines of current. And this is for anyone. Why are you back here? You want to change things that happened, decisions that were made that affected the line of your current. See, right now, there's all this potential. It's the potential to, it's over potential if you think about it. People are overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they want to start a YouTube channel and actually work on that. They don't know if they want to just go with Instagram and do that. They don't know if they want to just fly off to India right now and just live over there for $5 a month. They don't know what they want to do because there's so much potential, right? So that's where potential management comes in. That's where, well, how do you harness all this? Because you can't believe that, Just because when you see someone busy, right? So there's this thing with the new age. It's like when they see someone busy, they're always like, hey, brother, you might want to, watch out for how busy you are because, that's a part of the whole thing. And you miss out on your whole spiritual thing by playing in the rat race. So they'll give you that, right? And there's some plausibility to that. But then that can get into the namaste, which means, I'm going to stay, meaning I don't have a job. I'm going to sleep on your couch, right? It's a joke. I kind of told the backwards version of it. But anyway, what I'm saying is that there has to be this immensely fine balance between when is, okay, well, you weren't really doing much anyway. Like if you think about, let's say, a George Soros, let's say a Mark Andreessen, let's say any of these people, even rappers, actors, what do you think these people are doing every day? Do you think that they're sitting around just spending the money that they're making? They may be doing that in conjunction with working, but most of them have a lot of decisions to make. Now, if you get in what I always call the well-oiled machine going, if you learn the principles to that, because remember, like there's classes that are hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn how to run a well-oiled machine if you have like a massive potential with your company and already. So what I'm saying is that it's a real craft. It's not something that, you just know overnight. So that's why if you fail at it, if you don't pick yourself up and go at it again, then generally that's not what makes an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur knows there's going to be times for failure, but their passion for wanting to accomplish it, to want to see what, whatever their mentor in it achieved or whatever their glimpse of it was of what it could be, to see that, if that overwhelms the retardation that happens when something doesn't work, then they enter the realm of entrepreneur, which is, again, the beginning of becoming the controller of your life. And the reason why we're working in this heavily is because we know that sovereignty and being an entrepreneur, creating your own business, becoming your own bank, and all of those things are all down the line of higher consciousness for us, because it gives us no dependency, not only on the spiritual world, where if you're in the knowing, then you're in the space of no moving. I mean, you're good. But in the physical world, to achieve it there, the master riddle, the riddle of the world, which is to remain in balance here and to keep moving through these epochs, if you may, maybe never tasting death. And what I mean by that is that it's kind of clear that some reach a certain advanced stage in their consciousness when the period of what we call life and death is very similar to the period of going to sleep and waking up. And one continues from there with what they've already invested in themselves, which is the wisdom, the applications, and the utilization of this vehicle, this talent, this gift, right? Or curse, depending on, what you do with it, that has actually been given to you. So it's the total investment, if you may. Notice how investments or vestments means the clothes that you're putting on, as in a vest, right? So these investments, right? This is really what it's all about, that your higher self is only judging you. That's because you can only judge yourself, right? So your higher self is judging you to what you're going to do with this. And I was realizing this like the other day so deep about, like I used to, back in the day, let's say, when I was going deeply into the Gnosticism, I used to constantly pray all the time and talk to God, right? And I noticed that I built up such a strong relationship with this God, which was, again, one connecting with their higher self, or genuflection, okay? And it got to the point where I could call on this God to act on my behalf. And this is magic, basically. It's when you've conceived something greater, and then now you have it working for you. But obviously, the issue would become if somehow you realize that you're the one doing that and you don't accept it. Because if you then, don't, then of course you lose all your power. Okay? So this is really how the spiritual systems, which are the ones that control the physical systems, obviously, of power are set up. And then we get to a point where we start to realize that actually what this is really about is responsibility. That is, some governors are going to come off, and we know the governors are the organs. The governors are the chakras, and how fast they're spinning. So if the governors come off, if they start freeing themselves up, which is earned, those are the siddhis, which is earned through practicing proper kind acts to yourself. By the way, this is not about anybody else. Eating things that are going to help you, writing or listening to things that are going to build and increase you. So you'll see the repayment for that. So you can always, what? Invest in yourself. So that's what this has been. Ambassador training has been an investment in self for everyone. There's been time spent, energy spent, currency spent, and all of that spent or spin now has built up. And like I said, we are now focusing that spin. We have 2018 that we're coming into. Just a quick overview of what's happening with our groups. Obviously, life coaching is moving into now VAF forms. Next, life coaching or telesales. Then next, life coaching on the massive scale, geolocation, basically beginning to link people up like, Meetup, but as a platform, okay? And so it's just waiting to ignite. So we have 1,200, and then we have the core of ambassadors. That's linked up, and it's rolling. What's helping that is obviously an advertising focus group, business focus group. It's allowing us to nail in completely the steps of our campaigns. And that allows me also to let it go, let someone else do it, because I can easily say, like this. You see, you can't say like this. And this is always the importance of doing something that you may think, man, I don't know, in my career, I should be paying somebody to do this. This is the funny part. But then the career hasn't launched, so there's no money to pay anyone, and then you're just stuck, right? So the truth is that you have to look at that and say, okay, well, I'm going to have to do it. And not only am I going to have to do it, I'm going to have to do it to the level of a professional. So this is what a troubleshooter can do. A troubleshooter it doesn't take them to know about something. They just go in with the troubleshooting. It's like, so, okay, we got to make this look like professional. So what should we do first? Well, we should go look at the professional one. Yeah, that's right. You're good. So then you go look at a professional one. So what makes this look professional versus what I have? And then you start examining it. Now, this takes some time. And the person can feel like, I don't want to do this. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't design graphics. I'm the one that's wants you to touch and get in touch with yourself and the deeper connection. I'm not trying to be around, but this is the demanding world that we're in. Now, I want to complain about it, seeing that generally for the older folks, their grandparents, for the younger folks, their great-great-grandparents, either walk to school for 3 hours, walk 3 hours to get to school, carry water, jugs of water for hours. So, when it's just a couple clicks, you may start thinking about next time, is it so hard on you? However, this environment is more mentally challenging, of course, than it is physically. And you can see people mentally break down very easy here in this reality because it is so mental. And that connects me with exactly what I was talking about in relation to what this class does, is it allows you to begin to operate multiple facets of your future without sacrificing productivity. This is what we're teaching. It could take time to catch on to how to do that. You can obviously see that I'm doing it. There's certain parts of also what we're doing that is just instructional. So if you become a voyeur, well, let me look and see how it's being done. That's when you gain a lot more because you're also able to say, okay, you're able to assess the entire situation to see what it is that you can achieve. Now, remember, when I started this after liquidating pretty much everything and just taking my savings and living on that. And I was also in Costa Rica, and my idea was not to spend thousands of dollars a month like the lifestyle I had just come out of, because obviously, where there's no yin, there's no yang. If you don't eat of the prana, you don't live in the pranayama. So if you don't move, then nothing reacts on you. That's like, duh. Okay, so I realized that, and I decided, you know what? I'm just going to sit still right here in this finca. I met a couple people. I delivered the good news. I learned how to cleanse my body, but I wasn't really trying to go to this level with it. This happened in a sequence of releasing the code of the matrix. But what I'm bringing up is that you have to realize that if you're wanting to do something high-powered, you're ready to push up that throttle, you have to know what you're getting involved in and what you're asking to really be done. Now, it's, of course, doable, but if you're doing it already, then you already know what to do. If you're not doing it already, then you're only expecting what may happen. So what I'm saying is, what you find out is it is a lot of work. Like I say, hey, so you see somebody say, oh, this is a lot of work. And then you may think, yeah, that's because you're unorganized, or that's because you're not doing it right. So that's the judgment, right? For the person who's not actually doing it, right? But if they got involved in it, they'll see that, okay, well, yeah, this is just naturally a lot to deal with anyway. So I need to get used to dealing with a lot. So, of course, when you're looking at your presidents, when you're looking at, see, it's unfortunate even that I have to give these kind of examples. I can't really say when you're looking at, and I won't piss anybody off today by calling out names, but when you're looking at X person who's supposed to be the conscious speaker of the day, moving around, driving around in their car and just saying, hey, let me scare the shit out of everybody, and then act like I've saved the world because I'm just telling them about the disaster that's coming rather than actually giving them any kind of tools of how to avoid it. Okay, so that aspect of being, okay? So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about going beyond the norm and staying beyond the norm, so that way we can stay on track. And that what we've done is we've quickened. And I can say comfortably it has happened. If it hasn't happened for you, watch a couple more videos. Go back again. The quickening's there. If you want to quicken even faster, go watch the videos again, like watching a movie that you thought you saw everything there, and then you realize, oh my goodness, that's the solution to what I'm dealing with right there. And then, of course, even older recordings, people email me all the time. Yo, I was listening to something from, 2013, and you dropped it all right there. Yeah, it is right there. But again, it's not about whether it's right here. Everything is right here. Everything is in this empty space right here in front of me. It's not about whether it's right here. It's about whether you know what to do with it. Even that voice, those hands, those eyes, those feet, those muscles. Do I have to keep going down the list? Think about if we wanted to just itemize every single ability or agent, if you call it, something that could act out, that's a part of your body or your consciousness, how long the list would be. So then when a person says, oh man, they're unfortunate, a lot of times that just has to do with what we're setting as the status quo right now. Because predominantly the tools that we all have to use, many of us, are more than enough to get us into an expanded state. So there we go. That's enough of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and open up the line. And that's just for, again, I'm not sure if actually things appear in the same order as far as the people that are on this line, if they appear this the same order. So what I'll do is, since it's not mandatory that anyone does this, is I'll just let anyone that wants to chime in, go ahead and chime in. As I said, today is not really like, oh, this is ambassadors, we're doing this and this and this, but I'm dropping some jewels and I'm dropping some knowledge about getting those resolutions in place, because I've gotten a couple emails about that, about, when should I make my resolutions? And some of my good friends, and I'm like, we already made resolutions. What are you talking about, man? Sovereignty 2020, like we made resolutions we're not counting it like January going, or December going into January. The world counts it like that, so we will pay attention. But we've already taken off with what we're putting through. Now what we want to make sure is that everyone is up to speed, meaning that, again, if you're coming in, you're a little confused about what's going on, that's probably because you haven't checked the archive. You still have that to enjoy. If you've drilled through the archives, but you didn't catch you were supposed to be in a focus group, so you can figure out, hey, what's the cornerstone for you? Because what we talk about here is that you can't do all of them at one time. You need to figure out what is the one that all the other ones are depending on. And we created focus groups for that, just to assist you in getting focused, and also for me to make sure I can pour as much as I can into something specifically. So when I'm meeting with those groups, I'm discussing all the things that pertain to that group and how to keep pushing it up a notch from where we were before.